P51 Startup Guide. Here we go, into the cockpit. We'll keep this as simple as possible. So, in the P51, the best bet is to start from your left and work all the way around systematically so you don't miss anything. So, first up on the left we have the flaps lever, flaps up all the way for takeoff in the P51. These two levers here all the way forward, that's your carburetor and your carb heat. Just put them all the way forward, don't worry about it. These switches here, toggle switches for coolant up in the automatic position, we don't have to think about them. Rudder, this one here, you want this right 5 degrees for takeoff in the P51, so we put that there. Your throttle here, if you move your throttle forward you'll see your propeller lever, so you want your propeller lever all the way forward for takeoff, like so. Throttle forward about an inch. Fuel booster switch on. Ignition, stick that to both. And then park and brake, don't forget your park brake. Left click on the mouse to pull it out. Press and hold the brake, release the park and brake with the mouse, and if it stays out like that, you're good to go. Fuel cut off valve on. Over to the right hand side you have your generator, battery, that's not it, battery's the second one in. You'll see the lights coming on and the gauges jumping to life, and then you're just about ready to start a startup attempt. So for the startup, we're gonna come back over here to the starter switch, open that up. So you have the primer here, the starter here. You want to press and hold the primer for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Release that. Press and hold the starter. Then come over here and with the right click, push that forward. That's your mixer. And that's it. Up she goes. So now we're watching the clocks. This is manifold pressure, RPM. What we're paying attention to is oil pressure down here, so that needs to be around in the green, and the engine temperature wants to be above 40 before takeoff. So you want to give it a minute to run. Needles in the green there, it's not over stressed. You'll see if we move the throttle back and forward, you'll see the revs going up and down there. So ever so gently, just in the green. Now while we're waiting for it to warm up, we can close the canopy. You can do this after you take off, but it's a bit fiddly, and this is keeping it as simple as possible. Uncage your horizon. That's supposed to be done on level ground. We're on grass, so it might not be accurate, but for the case of this video, we don't have to worry about that. So now next step is to taxi out onto the runway. To taxi out, we want to bring the revs back just under 2 so we don't go too fast, and release the park and brake by pressing and holding the brake. In she goes, and we're rolling. Using the rudder now just to turn us out onto the runway. Simple taxi, nothing complicated, just a rudder, and very gently with the brakes. If you brake too hard, she will nose over and you'll trash your prop off the ground, so very gentle on the brakes. So you want to go about middle of the runway and as straight as possible, pointing down the runway. It's very hard to see out of the P51 because you got that giant engine cowl up in the air in front of you, so you have very little forward visibility. So you can cheat and press the F2 button, gives you your outside view. Just hold the brakes and you can have a sneaky double check how you lined up on the runway. So you can see by the centre line I'm a bit to the left there, so I'm going to give it some right rudder, let go of the brake, let it ease forward a bit, and that's it about there, straight enough. Right, back in the cockpit. For takeoff, we want flaps in the upright position in the P51, and we're going to throttle forward till the manifold pressure gets up to 4.5 to 5 and then we're going to release the brakes and using the rudder to keep us straight down the runway. You can only hope there's nothing in front of you because you can't see anything. So passing 100 miles an hour, just watching the speed out. About 110, 120, tail wheel comes off the ground, ever so gently rotate, up she goes, wheels up, watch the lights go red, wheels are moving, the lights go out, the wheels have come up and are safely stowed away. Right, we're good. Now, engine management. You want to get these needles into the grain, so if you pull your throttle back, you'll see the manifold pressure at the top, back into the grain, just at the top of the grain there, and then your propeller, bring that back and you'll see your RPM gauge coming down like so. Now, so with them two gauges in the grain, you can pretty much fly around like that all day long. You can give it a bit more throttle with the manifold. Don't go OTT because it's a very temperamental plane and it will seize the engine if you overstress it. Now there is war emergency power, there is more power available, and that's another video. This is just how to get the board in the air and fly around without seizing the engine. So we fly back in over the runway here. What are we doing? We're a bit slow, or a bit fast for a touch and go, but we put the wheels down anyway. Probably a terrible idea, but how can you resist? Wheels are down. We get a sneaky touch and go here. Well, not so much a touch and go, more a touch and break the landing gear off and grind to a halt with 1.5 wings. So there you go. How to safely start up, take off, and very not safely touch back down again. So don't try this at home. Over and out.